In a recent national survey, more than half of homeowners living in HOA communities said they don't think it adds any value to their neighborhood. Even worse, 1 in 10 said they're actually selling their home because of HOA issues. I'm Sean Tips, a realtor here in Austin, Texas, and I've had my fair share of HOA woes myself. So today, let's talk about what an HOA really is, how to decide if you even want one, and I'll share the single worst thing I've ever seen an HOA do. Because for some people, an HOA is helpful, but for others, it's the single biggest regret they have after buying. HOA stands for Homeowners Association, and in theory, it's meant to protect property value, manage amenities, and keep the neighborhood looking nice. They maintain common spaces, set community rules, and collect monthly or yearly fees. But what most people don't realize is that your HOA is basically a mini local government. They can fine you, they can place a lien against your home, they can even stop you from making improvements, like painting your house a different color or parking an RV in your driveway. And these rules aren't set by the city, they're set by a small volunteer board, often just a handful of your neighbors who make decisions for the entire community. Now on paper, HOA sounds great. You get a clean neighborhood, shared amenities like pools and parks, maybe even community events. And if you're buying a condo or townhome, an HOA can be essential for maintaining shared roofs, exteriors, and insurance. Some HOAs are fantastic, transparent, organized, and the homeowners actually get value from what they pay. But that's not always the norm, because what happens when power and personalities mix with property rules? That's where things start going wrong. Here's what I've seen firsthand. An HOA that over-enforces rules, people fined for trash cans visible from the street for 30 minutes, homeowners told they can't have a garden because it's unsightly, a couple fined because their kid's basketball hoop was left out overnight, fees that start at $50 a month creep to $100, $150, $300. You start to wonder where the money goes. Unless you attend meetings or read the financials, you'll never really know. Instead of being a friendly system that keeps things nice, it becomes the constant background stress. Rules, letters, fees, and that feeling that someone's always watching. Now, there are certain HOAs that are more strict than others, so I do think there's a range of how much oversight they will have. Talking with potential neighbors is a good way to find out more. And that brings me to the question I get from almost every client. Should we buy in an HOA neighborhood? I always tell people to look at 3 things before saying yes. First, personality fit. If you like structure and uniformity, if you find comfort in these things, being well kept, an HOA might be for you. But if you value flexibility, it can feel like handcuffs. Second, value for money. What does your fee actually cover? Some pay for lawn maintenance, trash, and pool. Others cover almost nothing. Third, read the rules. Ask for the full set of CCRs. Those are covenants, conditions, and restrictions before you make an offer. I know it's boring, but it's better to read 5 pages now than live 5 years frustrated. In Texas, we get a review period inside the contract, but it's worth doing an extra due diligence on the front end. Before I tell you about one of the worst HOA experiences I've heard of, I want to mention positives for having an HOA too when it comes to neighborhood maintenance and curb appeal. If you're the type of person that gets fed up with your neighbor's unruly lawn, an HOA might be suited for you. But in all seriousness, an HOA can also build a sense of community and protect property values. As I mentioned earlier, a lot of HOAs will have shared neighborhood amenities such as parks, playgrounds, pools, etc. There's even a great community in Buda called Sunfield that has a lazy river. If you really want to know what happens when an HOA gets it wrong, however, here's the worst story I've seen. I once heard a guy who decided to xeriscape their yard during a summer drought. It saved water and the city loved it. The HOA, not so much. They fined him $1,000 for non-approved landscaping. 3 months later, the city gave them an award for water conservation. Same house, same yard. That's the kind of thing that drives homeowners crazy. So is living in an HOA a huge mistake? Not always, but it can be if you walk in blind. Before you buy, read the HOA rules like you read your mortgage. because once you move in, you're living in them. If you're shopping for a home in the Austin area, I'll help you find the communities where the HOAs actually add value and help you steer clear of the ones that don't. Grab my free Austin relocation guide below. I'm Sean Tips, helping you move smarter every week.